Okay. So, yeah. The story here is, and I think our grave we're looking for is back here, very small cemetery. But in, I believe, 1992, a guy by the name of Walter Rice had a car accident over in Greenwood. Little bump, fender bender, no big deal. Got home here to McCormick and died a couple of days later. Until some people were breaking into his house a year later, he was not found. He left. See if this is it. This is the Rice. Yep, that's him. There he is, Walter Rice. He left bank account of somewhere around $125,000, $150,000, as I recall, and had no heirs. Which is also a good reason that it's been, it took a year to find him. Unfortunately, it was some bastards breaking into his house that found him. There is his grave here at this church, which is back behind those trees there. Just a small cemetery, and the investigator of the detective who was tasked with finding his heirs, could not find anybody. He used some of the guy's money to have him buried here and the headstone put in place, and they never have found any of his heirs. Supposedly, some of the articles I've read about it were that they did actually find his Social Security number was fake. They found a passport with all kinds of stamps all over it. And they found possible connections to the CIA. Of course, remember, look at the guy. The guy was 72 years old. If anything, he was long retired. But they found no birth certificate on him. Supposedly he was born in Abbeville in 1920. No record. The guy is a ghost. In more ways than one now, but yeah. Yeah, who knows? Everything from he was in the witness protection program, he was a CIA operative, but the most that they could find on him was prior to moving back here, he had worked at a restaurant in, I believe it was Connecticut, for like 10 years. He had been a chef up there. And then he wound up back here, moved into a little trailer, which we're going to try and drive by and see where that was. Had that car accident. He was mummified when they found him. The people that broke, you got to give the guys that broke into his house a little credit. They broke in, they found him, and they let's call the cops. So they did call the cops, but just showing pretty small cemetery, all things told. We'll get a video here of it. But the metropolis of McCormick, unfortunately, as is common, an awful lot of folks just will only have the temporary markers, and that's all they'll ever have. But I'm sure that's what he would have had. For the longest time, I thought he was buried out at McCormick City Cemetery, because that's where the information that I had found. Now, at least we know where he is. I'm going to grab my phone and we'll grab a couple of pictures of it. But for everybody else, there is the story of Walter Rice. There's his grave.